I know, hard to believe, but yet another elm. I am I am partial to them. I'm also partial to them when they do funky things with the surface roots. So, need to inspect the roots, looking for insects and whether or not the plant is root bound. Clean her up, and then pluck out any weeds. There's my buddy oxalis again, and then arenaria. Don't know the name of this one. He's vigorous. Pops up all over the place. Don't know the name of that one. Think I'm seeing evidence of root mealybugs. Gonna have to take a close look, dive in there, see what's going on. Alright, so let's continue the lap around. Whenever I see white fuzzy stuff in the roots, it's going to be one of two things. This is 99% going to be root mealybugs. See that little white cottony speck there? If I had a really good magnifying glass, which I don't, I would probably find something in there with 6 legs. And here's some more evidence of it. Now, if it were mycorrhiza, I would expect to see the filaments all over the roots making a network. When I see little white specks like that, if it's not perlite, it is more than likely going to be root mealybugs. Now you need to keep your eye out during the growing season because ants are not necessarily a problem for your tree by themselves. We don't have any leafcutter ants up here on Long Island, but they are great farmers. So what they'll do is they'll spread the mealybugs around your trees. They'll also do the same thing with scale, and they'll do the same thing with aphids. That's a woods violet. That's the smallest little leaf I've seen. The moss is cute, but you really don't need it climbing up your tree. It's not going to kill your tree, but it will obscure your view. So I do like to remove it once a year. I know it's coming back, so I'm not losing any sleep over it, and I can always relocate it. I won't save it if I see that it's got the root mealybugs near it or in it. Same thing with Selaginella or baby tears or Corsican mint. Don't keep those floating around. So this is another one of my funky root elms that I adore, and I need to make some decisions. I've got 3 crazy trunks, which I'm sure some purists would tell me is not right and no good, but you don't have to do anything that you don't want to. Enjoy your trees the way you enjoy them, unless you are going into competition. Then you need to know what the judges are looking for and play to the judges. So, I have 1, 2, 3 trunks popping out. None of them are in good spots, and yet I love all of them. So, what I don't need are some of the big clubby messes up top. Something that happens frequently with almost all your bonsai. Your deciduous bonsai, it happens very rapidly. They will, especially your apical dominant trees, they will go crazy at the apex. So what I'm doing here is looking for branches that did not make it through the year, and as I'm here, I'll show you the scratch test. So if you're unsure if a branch is alive, and usually you can tell, because if it's not pliable, 9 times out of 10, depending on your species, if it snaps like a, that's no good. And I'm not seeing any green underneath, so what you can do is you can scrape the bark. If it's brown and hard, or brown and mushy, or black and hard, or black and mushy, then the tree is dead at that point. If it's pliable and you can see a vibrant green layer underneath, then it's alive. So you can just go through with your fingers and test the branches and the twigs and decide what's alive and what's not. Now I've got a mess up here. You can see the wire scars and this dead branch. You can see all the adventitious buds that popped out right in that spot when it passed away. So coming back to what I think is the front, kind of like that craziness, I'm going to remove that mess up there. That might come up. This is swinging back on itself. It had died back to that node and then started swinging back on the tree. So I could try and wire that into position, but it's not worth it in my opinion. So we'll see what it does. Now this guy is going crazy, and he's gonna bulk up this area here, and you can see it's already started to happen. I've got 4 or 5 branches coming out of the same spot, so I'm going to reduce that to the 1 or 2 that I really need. So assuming that is the front, do I need him or do I need him? I'm going to go with this one, remove the thicker one that attaches at the same point, shorten the one that I kept, and then look at my front again. This here is a mess. I don't know if I'll ever make that look good. And this is the time of year when your trees have no foliage, where you can see all your faults and you can start to work on fixing them. And then when the foliage comes, you won't see nearly as many of them as there are. I'm kind of weird that I enjoy my deciduous trees in the winter, not so much in the summer, because when in the summer all you see is leaves, and unless I've got really spectacular leaves, I'm not getting excited. So I think I'm going to leave him. No, don't have to worry about him at all. He was weak. So I think I'm going to try and coax this part up, and then I'm going to inspect the roots, see if I need to make any nips and tucks. Alright, so now I got to be careful here because I could very easily snap off what's left of the apex, which sometimes works to your advantage. Don't always need everything that you have on the tree. And there have been times where I'm working with a deciduous tree and it's like every branch is in the wrong spot, so just take the tree back to its core and leave just the trunk. I know this branch is wrong. Everything is wrong about this tree, but I love it. And that's probably why I love it. Alright, so let's look at the roots. Not really seeing much that needs to be root pruned. So I think all we'll do is tease them out. This was root pruned last year, so I'm really not seeing any roots that are running around in circles. It's not pot bound, soil's nice and loose. So we'll give it some Super Thrive and some fresh soilless media, and then we'll hit it with some Osmocote. I like Osmocote this time of year because it will not overstimulate the plant. The better formulations of the slow release fertilizer are designed to release when the temperature and the soil moisture is up. The last thing I need is lots of nitrogen being released when the light levels are low. Then I'll wind up with big leaves and big internodal spaces. And the big leaves I don't get worried about because it's a deciduous tree, so next year they'll pop off and I could always defoliate. What I can't really do is change the internodal spaces. So I don't want the tree to get leggy. and have big gaps between the leaf nodes. I want it to, especially at the apex, at the top of the tree, I want it to be really tight. I want the foliage really close. I'm not looking for big spaces. Now maybe if this tree were super young and I was trying to run it on and build up a base on the trunk, then maybe I'd say, yeah, feed it, go crazy. But right now, I want to keep the internodes short. So this is some Osmocote. I'm going to use less than a tablespoon in this pot, and that will release when the temperature and the humidity is right. And according to the label, this is supposed to be their no burn formulation. It's supposed to be 15% nitrogen, and that will give me some nice growth once the light levels return and the temperatures warm up a bit. So we'll put him back on the shelf, even though I know he's wrong and breaks all the rules. He's mine. So this is where I'm supposed to tell you to like and subscribe and all that. So go do your thing, and more importantly, go work on your trees.